Hello everyone and welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. My name is Stefan. Thank you for coming to the channel. Okay, I don't usually do new product reviews or commentary. I like what I like and I tell you unabashedly what I use, but I seldom take products and actually discuss them from a out and out consumer point of view. But I decided I want to do that this time because I bought a UNS Atmos backlight system. It's fairly new from UNS. I love this brand. Again, unabashedly a fan. They have given me nothing except satisfaction, is what I like to say. However, this aquarium, where you see it now in place, and I've got it on this sort of lovely tinted yellow kind of sunset tea color, which picks up the motif of a black water, the tannin stain in the water, which is fairly diminished at this point. These botanicals down here, they're wonderful. The Neocaridina love them, and whatever other organisms are in the aquarium, plus they still release some beneficial tannins into the water. So the fish in here, which are all Blackwater preferred, like the classic neon tetra. I have some Morse code tetras, pygmy coreodoras, and the elusive but fabulous Licoricegami. They're all denizens in this aquarium. I just added this about an hour ago, so some of the fish, I'm sure, are bewildered. The neon tetras are pretty resilient. They can handle whatever. But the Licoricegaramis, it remains to be seen how they will appreciate or not. And we're looking at a nice black male over here with the beautiful blue tint, the yellow and blue tint around the fin. You can see it just behind the Anubias there. And the neon. There's several of them in here, and hopefully while I'm filming this we'll see a few more. But what's really cool is now I see all the way through to the back of the aquarium, whereas before, when I had a plain black background on it, it was pitch dark down there, and you know, that was cool, but I'm trying to maximize my viewing pleasure for this tank without forsaking its concept. And I got this notion that a backlight set to these yellow or greens would highlight the motif I'm after, as I said, a Blackwater, a tea-stained aquarium, but also allow me to see through that fabulous root structure, all these pothos roots right here that are into the ground at this point. That's crypt parva, by the way. What an excellent small cryptocorn. The way it forms a pseudo carpet, not completely encompassing the substrate, but allowing you to see through it. Love that plant. It's doing pretty well in here, as you can see, but these roots are the highlight, honestly. The way they've come down from what looks like a quasi-struggling pothos is actually, at least from a submerged perspective, doing wonderfully well. Some of these roots are tight like rope. There's a big root right back there, and it's in front of the little print-on-demand plant holder, which is not very pretty, but it's kind of not a big deal. The roots have obstructed it. It's kind of in the is what it is category. I do use it to help support some of the plants back there. I might make a change because these roots are primarily from this kind of pothos, which I've struggled with in my fish room, and some of you have commented, you know, hey Stefan, you got some brown crinkly leaves, and you know, that's true with this white and green variety. I never get the robust growth that you see on the classic golden pothos and this other little tank here. Whoa, coming right out at me. This is from the 5-gallon CPD tank, which is kind of my El Cheapo Magico aquarium, Petco special. But we're not talking about that right now. This is the UNS Atmos. They make it custom for their most popular aquariums, but with a little modification I was able to put it on an aquarium that's essentially the same size, not exactly, as the 45U would indicate. That's the brand of tank that UNS recommends this particular model with, 45U UNS. But I don't have a UNS aquarium. I had another brand here. I believe this is a Dinar tank. I forget, actually. I beg your pardon. But it's a low iron glass, rimless. It's a beautiful aquarium. I think I got a good price on it, and it was a couple gallons more, like 12 gallons as opposed to 10. And I wanted to get as much real estate as I could in the space that I had here, for some obvious and some less obvious reasons. But anyway, I knew that it wasn't going to be a perfect fit. That's the remote here causing a reflection, and I'll get to that. And I did have to do a modification. The clips on the back were 1 millimeter too small for this particular edge here to clip on. So I took a file and put some elbow grease onto the little clips and literally filed off about 1 millimeter. They're brushed aluminum, and aluminum is fairly easy to file, but it wasn't as easy as I had hoped. But I did it, and so I was able to snap it on in the back. Another pain in the neck, because behind there is where all my wires and equipment are, along the back of, and you see some of it here. I'm actually trying to grow some rotala in this vase, and I hooked up a little nitro, or not a nitro, a Hygger light, and I elevated the vase. It's not pretty. Nothing right here is pretty. I've got the Brine Shrimp Hatchery, the Oase filter for this tank, and the little canister from Landon for this tank. But I can't make everything aesthetically beautiful. I mean, no one with a full-blown fish room, unless it's a what do they call it, a gallery. But I don't have the luxury of a gallery in this space. I'm just super fortunate to have what I have. So I had to make a modification on the clip to fit this off-brand aquarium, and I was able to do that. And now let's talk about the actual controls. So there's two controls. This is the one you end up using. It's actually paired to the on and off device, which is on the other side by the electronic module. And it's really not necessary for me to at least show you. I'm moving up and down my finger here, which is kind of a cool way to go. I don't know if any of the competitors do that. You can do a flashing effect and all this stuff, but for the life of me, why would you want to terrorize your fish like that? I want to find a color, live with it, play with the intensity, and leave it be. I'm sort of keen on this yellow-green area for the reasons I talked about. Oops. It picks up the tea stain that I'm looking for. That's a little bit yellower there, but it's pretty, it's kind of, I mean, it's not kind of, it is fun to play with once you get it paired. That's pretty intense, right? I don't know, what do you guys think? The neons are so garish, you know, we're so used to seeing neon Tetris, but when they first introduced this species in America, I think in the 20s or something, when they finally got a couple live specimens over, they were the belle of the ball. I mean, hobbyists went bonkers. You know, they would pay any price. Now we're so used to it, but if you look at it through their eyes, almost a century ago, and just look at this fish for what it is, it's intensely colored. How does Mother Nature come up with something like this? So UNS and this backlight allows you to maybe play with that and see what brings out those colors. And at the same time, I don't want to freak out my pygmy coreodoras or my neocaridina, and especially the sensitive Licoricegami. I was only able to find the one. There's another. You see it against the bogwood there? There's some pygmy coreodora. There's a Morse code tetra flicking its fins, its dorsal fin, like a old Morse code machine. Did it, SOS, SOS, turn off that light, damn it. There should be about 4 or 5 of those Licoricegami, maybe 8 pygmy coreodoras, a dozen neons, and I don't know how many neocaridina, maybe a couple of monos. There's a cherry, a couple cherry shrimp, maybe a few. There's a black rose shrimp along that petrified wood, and there's an undetermined one climbing the petrified wood. The UNS model, this one, for I think a 10-gallon tank, is $150. And if you order it online from a couple places, you know, you add the shipping, it's about $185. But if you find your LFS and they sell UNS, they can get it from their supplier, and you'll pay for this one $150. If I elect to get a size bigger for my 20-gallon, I believe it's about $200. I could be wrong about that. So they're not cheap by any means. They're a fun luxury item. You know, I don't know, luxury is the right word, but they're a nice to have, not a need to have. I don't believe they provide a lick of benefit to your plants, and they might even be annoying, at least in the early going, for your fish. But I'm sure UNS has thought about all that when they put together the wattage and the LED. It has a matte back, so it won't reflect off your wall, which is nice. Some of the competitors will just blast out the back, the light, and that's no fun. I love UNS, and because they came out with this and I saw a nice review on a YouTube video, I pulled the trigger and decided I would try it on this particular aquarium so that I could see all the way through it. Okay, everybody, you know, if you have any questions about what I did, the modifications, how I filed the pieces, what that entailed, the setup. The setup is easy if you don't have any obstacles, but most of us have some obstacles. I had Pothos vines, tons of electronic cords, and just being in a precarious position on the lower part of my shelf. So it was a bit of a, you know, sweat coming off the forehead type of a thing. But if you have a straight up aquarium on a stand, it's not quite a no-brainer, but it's really easy. I think it's worth it. I think that's pretty badass. God, those roots are so cool. And look at the neons in there. Look at that image right there. I mean, that's what it's all about, at least for me. Plants coming in and out, marrying the edge of a puddle river, like the soft part of a river, what the embankment would look like. Very pleased. I hope you are too. As always, everybody, keep your hands in the tank, and ciao for now.